I don't know what's happened, but all of a sudden I find myself looking forward to the Truck Series race more so than anything else each week. Probably has something to do with a man named Ross Chastain. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric, and welcome to Out of the Groove. Now, I know I'm kind of behind on this topic. I could have made the episode yesterday, but I was really busy with other non-YouTube related things. That's right, I do things outside of YouTube. I know I upload a lot of videos these days, but I do other stuff too. And with Sunday being my Cup Series race review, I had to push it to today, but I wanted to talk about Ross Chastain and the heroics he's been showing off the last couple weeks. So in case you missed it, Saturday night, the NASCAR Truck Series, the Gander Truck Series, raced at Gateway. It's called, Worldwide Technology Raceway now? Out in St. Louis. Now, the story coming into this race was Ross Chastain. Remember the week before at Iowa, Ross Chastain won that race, which we all thought at the time locked him into the Truck Series playoffs, but then about an hour after the race, the truck failed post-race inspection, and with NASCAR's new rules, they had to vacate the win. The win ended up going to Brett Moffitt, so Ross Chastain didn't get any credit for his dominance at Iowa the week before, and found himself coming into Gateway in a deep playoff hole. And we weren't sure how that team was going to bounce back. It sounded like it was kind of a gut punch for Nice Motorsports when they found out that they didn't win that race, and when they ultimately lost their appeal, it sounded like, man, they were not in a good place coming into Gateway. And watching the race Saturday night, they did not seem, at least for most of the race, to have the most dominant truck, but Ross Chastain, he looks like a seasoned veteran out there. The dude's only like 26 years old. He's not that old. And at the end of the race, it was Ross Chastain driving for Nice Motorsports, getting the win. Technically, this is just their second win of the season, but if you count that Iowa one, which I'm not going to because NASCAR doesn't. So yeah, this is his second win of the season, but the third time he's crossed the finish line first. And this one held up. Post-race inspection went their way. The crew chief, Phil Gold for that team, actually tweeted this photo from the inspection line saying, yep, things were all good. So we got direct from the horse's mouth that Ross Chastain and that team, they passed post-race inspection this week. So this win counted. And now, Nice Motorsports, Ross Chastain are effectively locked into the Truck Series playoffs. And they did it really, I was going to say in dramatic fashion, but no. They did it right off the bat. We didn't have to sit here and worry about it for many weeks. Chastain is still 38 points outside the top 20, but given that there's only like 14 or 15 full-time trucks in the field, he is going to get inside the top 20 unless something catastrophic happens. Literally, unless Chastain gets injured and can't race, he will make it inside the top 20, so that is not a big deal. So yeah, Nice Motorsports, Ross Chastain, they're in the playoffs, and I don't know, it's insane. It's become my new favorite story in all of NASCAR. But there's a couple questions I'm still asking though. One, where did Ross Chastain come from? Because up until, 2 years ago, I really barely knew his name. And maybe the more important question though is, where the heck did Nice Motorsports come from? When did we start talking about this team as a Truck Series championship contender? Maybe even a championship favorite. They're going out there each week and they're beating the 4 ThorSport trucks, who have got to have quadruple the funding of Nice Motorsports. They're out there beating Kyle Busch Motorsport trucks, when Kyle Busch isn't the one driving them at least. Last year, Hattori Racing kind of shocked the Truck Series world with Brett Moffitt as their driver, and they won the championship, and I think a lot of people were a little surprised by that. But this year with Nice Motorsports, now I know since last year they've had an alliance with GMS Racing, but still, nobody, and I mean, I can't imagine anybody came into this thinking Nice Motorsports was going to win the championship or was even going to be a contender for race wins. I know I certainly didn't. So where on earth did Nice Motorsports come from? This team is still pretty much brand spanking new. I did a little bit of research, the bare minimum at least. This team made their Truck Series debut in 2016 at Texas, and then in 2017 they only had one full-time truck. Driver TJ Bell drove most of it, but they didn't even have one driver for the whole schedule. But then last year, 2018, they had 2 full-time trucks over there. However, their highest finish in the owner point standings was only 17th. So, yeah, they still weren't running that great. And now last year was the first year of their GMS Racing alliance. This year is the second year, and they have completely turned the page. They have flipped the script. And the big difference this year is Ross Chastain is basically driving a full-time schedule for them. He's racing several of their trucks. Basically, he's never in the same numbered truck each week. He's always changing 38, 44, 45, like... Just pick a number, guys. What's wrong? But it doesn't seem to matter which Nice Motorsport truck Ross Chastain is in each week. He is contending for wins. And like I said earlier, he is running with and beating consistently the Kyle Busch trucks, the ThorSport trucks, the Hattori trucks. It's absolutely remarkable to see where this 26-year-old driver, who really nobody was talking about 3 years ago, to see how far he has come in such a short period of time. The dude's made an entire brand for himself. He's the busiest driver in NASCAR, the Melon Man Challenge, got watermelon smashing on on his truck each week. The dude has a brand already. And this is a guy in the truck series, not even driving for one of the superpower teams. How in 2019 is this possible? It's absolutely remarkable. All of a sudden, like I said, he has become the most interesting story in all of NASCAR racing, in my opinion. To see where he came from, a watermelon farmer in Florida, racing late models, being very successful there, getting some opportunities. He did race, on a part-time schedule with Brad Keselowski Racing in the trucks in 2013. And I think in 14 starts, he had 7 top 10s, 4 top 5s, a couple pole awards. So 2013, things maybe look promising for a young Ross Chastain, but then everything seemed to kind of fizzle out. He's been racing for a bunch of mediocre and not so good teams in Xfinity, Cup, trucks. But this year, man, it's remarkable. It's remarkable what he's been able to do with so little. It's incredible. He's already got 2 wins this year, 3 if you count Iowa, but the record books don't, so I won't. But still absolutely insane. He's quickly emerged as a Truck Series Championship favorite. Ross Chastain, man, he might not be going home empty-handed this season the way we thought when that Ganassi deal fell through. Remember, we thought he might be running for an Xfinity championship this year with Chip Ganassi, but with all the off-the-track issues with his potential sponsor, that fell through. The man's had so many unlucky breaks in the last 12 months, but now things seem to finally be going his way. And now, knock on wood, because anything could go wrong. The rate things have been going, he's probably going to get struck by lightning or something. Oh, please, no. Oh, goodness, no. But assuming things stay pretty much normal for Ross Chastain, yeah, he's going to be a Truck Series Championship contender this year. Chip Ganassi Racing still has his eye on him. There's a very good chance we could see Chastain in the Cup Series next year in Chip Ganassi equipment. Keep an eye on the contract situation with Kurt Busch over there. I think Ganassi's got his eye on him. Ross Chastain, the watermelon man, the busiest driver in NASCAR. Dude has become the most interesting story in all of stock car racing this year, in my opinion. Now, we do have to talk about some real news in this video, so I just wanted to get that off my chest. My reaction to that win the other night, that was remarkable. I'm excited to see what he does next. He is becoming must-watch TV, in my opinion. All right, so let's talk about some news. Fox Sports news specifically. So the Fox portion of the NASCAR 2019 season schedule is over. NBC picks up the tab this week starting at Chicagoland, and we're going to be with NBC, NBCSN, Rutledge Wood, and friends throughout the rest of this season. Now, Fox will be back next season to pick up their usual kind of first half of the schedule, but Darrell Waltrip will not be returning. Remember, he is retired now. Sonoma the other day was his final race as a broadcaster. But now questions have surfaced. People are asking, who is going to replace Darrell Waltrip next season? Some people look at Larry McReynolds, who's kind of a rules analyst now. He used to be in the booth. Maybe he takes that role again. Some people look at Michael Waltrip, Darrell's brother, who does some broadcasting for them during Truck Series broadcasts. Maybe he makes the jump over to the Cup Series. That's a possibility. Other people are mentioning other names, some of the newer names that Fox recently hired in the last year, guys like Jamie McMurray. Could we see one of those guys or girls step into the booth alongside Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon next year? That remains to be seen. However, the CEO of Fox Sports last week, reported by Adam Stern, made some very interesting comments regarding the future of Fox NASCAR broadcasting, and we gotta talk about it. Here's the tweet last week from Adam Stern. I know I've waited a little while to make a video about this, but I figured now is the best time. He says, Fox Sports CEO Eric Shanks says there are no current plans to replace Darrell Waltrip in its NASCAR booth next season, raising prospect that Fox will go from a 3-man booth to 2. Here's the quote, Darrell has defined Fox NASCAR coverage from day one. You can't simply snap your fingers and replace someone like him. For now, there is no plan to add anyone to the booth for 2020. We're just focused on saying thank you to DW. So I know I have some questions. You can interpret this quote in 2 different ways. Now, it's worth mentioning that, as you saw, that tweet is a few days old. It was earlier last week, before the Sonoma race, that this tweet and this report came out. And leading up to that race, all the hype was around thanking Darrell Waltrip. Thanks DW for all his great years in the booth. So I think that's important context for this quote. But the thing that, is the most interesting to me is the line there that says, there are no current plans to replace DW. Now that Darrell Waltrip is officially retired, I guess, now that Sonoma's over, maybe now Fox Sports will start to really look into that situation and will start looking at who they might want to hire. But Adam Stern's usually pretty good about these reports, and if he's suggesting that Fox Sports might consider a 2-man booth next year as opposed to the traditional 3, I'm going to take him at his word and say that there might be actually something there. So let's talk about it for the second. What if Fox Sports decides not to replace DW, and next year when Daytona rolls around, we got Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon? Because that's who I assume it's going to be. Mike Joy's 69 years old. He's definitely getting up there, but I still think he's really great to listen to. I think he does a great job with the broadcast. But who knows how much longer he's going to want to do it now that his good old partner DW's gone. I don't know, but we can assume at least for next year it'll be Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that booth. Now, I've said this before on the show. I actually kind of like Darrell Waltrip for the most part. I think this year was one of his weaker years as a commentator. I think he's getting older, but overall, I've always liked him and Mike Joy, and back when they had Larry McReynolds, I thought that was a great broadcasting group. I have not been a huge fan of Jeff Gordon in the broadcast booth ever since he joined in 2016. He does still offer some very good insight, some very interesting details. He is fresh out of these race cars. He knows, at least more so than Darrell Waltrip or Mike Joy, he knows how these cars today drive better than them. So Jeff Gordon is not bad by any means. I've just felt like over the last couple of years, it sort of felt like the Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip show. They've been doing this for a long time together, and it felt like Jeff Gordon was kind of just awkwardly pasted in. I don't know if anyone else got that same feeling, but I just never felt like the three of them went together very well. So that's what concerns me. If Fox decides to go with a two-man booth, and we got Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon, maybe this will be Jeff Gordon's opportunity to shine. Maybe now that DW is not there and Jeff Gordon is now the primary color commentator, maybe he can really shine through. Maybe him and Mike Joy will be great. I'm not going to rule that possibility out. I'm just concerned because my least favorite part of the Fox booth the last 3 years has been Jeff Gordon. And if he now becomes more of the focus with Darrell Waltrip gone and no replacement, I'm a little bit concerned. If Fox goes to a two-man booth with Joy and Gordon, I'm a little concerned, but let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Jeff Gordon will shine? Let me know. Now, Adam Stern also tweeted this out in response to his initial report. He said, Fox Sports going with a two-man booth for 2020 would give the network another year to ponder the long-term future of its announcer lineup, which could eventually include Kevin Harvick when he retires. Harvick has said he has deals as a driver through at least 2021. Kevin Harvick's been a color commentator on many Xfinity Series broadcasts over the years. I'm not a big Kevin Harvick fan, but I will say he does a very good job in the booth. I don't know, a Mike Joy, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon booth in a few years. Could be interesting, could work, might not work. At that point, Mike Joy might consider retirement. So, I don't know. The booth in 2 or 3 years could look very different. But yeah, with Harvick still racing for at least the next 2 years, that's not happening anytime soon. But if they do choose to replace Darrell Waltrip, who would you like to see in his spot? I do think Larry McReynolds would be great. I loved him as a commentator for many years. However, I get the impression he's also a little older. I think he likes his job where he kind of gets to mostly hang out in Charlotte and do a lot of stuff from the studio there. Jamie McMurray's also kind of based in Charlotte. Maybe he joins the booth. I don't know. Him and Jeff Gordon, I don't know if that would work as well. I like Darrell Waltrip because it was multiple generations. You had the older guy Darrell Waltrip and kind of the newer guy Jeff Gordon. I thought that was a good contrast there. So like Jamie Mack, Jeff Gordon, I don't know if that works because they're kind of from the same era. That's also be my issue if they brought Kevin Harvick in. So I don't know about that, but there are definitely a lot of very interesting opportunities. Now, one thing I found while doing research for this episode, unrelated, but it caught my attention. I want to see if it catches y'all's too. Play-by-play guy Alan Bestwick was released by ESPN in 2018 at the end of the IndyCar schedule, part of just downsizing from ESPN and the fact that they've given up on most American motorsports. Alan Bestwick is still very young. A lot of NASCAR fans really liked his commentary in the ESPN, ABC, even way back in the NBC days. We actually had Alan Bestwick on this channel several months ago before the season started, talking about his career, talking about possible future plans. He did say that hopefully some stuff was in the works, but he didn't say what. I ventured over to his Wikipedia page, and now this is Wikipedia, so remember kids, not always a reliable source, but there was a paragraph in there regarding his future plans that was not cited, but the fact that it was on his Wikipedia page had me asking questions. This right here, it says, starting in 2019, Bestwick will make his Fox Sports debut, starting with Fox NFL, doing play-by-play, and being a Fox NASCAR pit reporter starting in 2020. Now, I looked everywhere, and I could not find anything to prove or disprove this point, so it could just be someone playing a practical joke and tugging at our heartstrings. It'd be pretty darn cruel to play with a man's emotions like this. Maybe Alan Bestwick himself wrote it in there. I have no idea why he would do that, but the fact that it's there, maybe there's something to it. Alan Bestwick's a lot younger. He's I think he's 57 years old, so he's about 12 years younger than Mike Joy. There's a good possibility maybe in the next couple of years if Mike Joy opts to retire, I think Alan Bestwick would be a great pick. No offense, but I do not want Vince Welsh coming from the Truck Series over to the Cup Series. No, don't do that, Fox. I'm sorry. So in 3 years, 2022, let's say, we could see Alan Bestwick, Jeff Gordon, and maybe Kevin Harvick in the Fox Sports booth. I don't know. I might like that. At that point, Jeff Gordon will probably be really good. We already know Harvick's pretty good at this whole TV deal, and Alan Bestwick's the GOAT, in my opinion. So Fox could look very different in just a few years, but that's just some food for thought. I want to get you guys thinking about that. Who knows if it means anything, but I'd love to see Alan Bestwick make his return. Maybe we see that sooner than later. I just thought that was very interesting, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your responses down in the comments. I look forward to reading those. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all that great stuff. And of course, a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Michael Harrison at G was the Stars, Mentally Defective, Cameron James, John Koblenz, Jason R. Long, Wesley Donaldson, Isaac Dennison, Mika Suzuki, iFantasyRace.com, TheRacingInsiders.com, Adam Lean, Matthew Kalopoulos, Pepe Leshes, and the rest of these amazing Patreon supporters. I'm out of breath. I've done a lot of talking and shouting in this episode, but thank you guys so much for your continued support. I couldn't do this without you, so thank you very much. More episodes planned for this week. I'm tired. I was shouting about Ross Chastain earlier. I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. But hope you guys enjoyed. I got more episodes later this week, of course. And of course, Chicagoland this weekend could be exciting. I might look something like Kansas or Charlotte. It's a mile and a half, kind of similar in a lot of ways. Maybe with this package we see some crazy racing. I'll have some more episodes up before then, though. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, everyone.